Hi Aditya. So if anyone can just tell me if I am visible and if I'm audible. Uh, can I have a confirmation from anyone in the chat? Uh, Still waiting for a confirmation. Anyone? Okay. Thank you, Rishabh, and thank you, Sanjay. So I think we already have a few questions for me to begin with. I will start with what Uzwal has asked. Uh, Once again, already have 24 people watching, 26. So thank you very much, everyone, for turning up. And yes, this is a live session where we talk about startups and entrepreneurship, where I try to answer all the questions that you might have with my knowledge and experience that I've gained over the years. So we will begin with the first question that is from Ujjwal, which is after planning the product and making it ready to launch, are there any prerequisites before going to register a company? So Ujjwal, there is no prerequisite to register a company before registering a company, basically, because the only way you need a company is to have a legal entity, to have a registered entity. If you are, one that you are selling a product, let's say whenever you're selling a product, you're basically getting into a contract with your customer, or you are, taking some money. So I think I don't really see any prerequisite to just register a company. After registering a company, there are a lot of compliances that you need to take care of, but assuming by then you will already have your CA, or you will already have someone to actually guide you. So thank you, Aditya, for your appreciation. That's it. I mean, things like this basically help us, or sort of motivate us to keep doing what we have been doing for more than 2 years now. And Happy New Year, everyone. This is my first time after the New Year's that I am live. So Happy New Year. I hope 2021 is better for everyone, good for prosperous for everyone. And I don't know, how 2020 was for a lot of people. For some it was good, for some it was bad, but I really hope that this year is going to be good for everyone. uh, Usual, yes, a company can be registered without funds, without any products. I do have a lot of, there are a lot of people who actually, the moment they have an idea, they just register a company. So you do have to pay a certain amount of government fee, certain amount of the CA or the lawyer, whoever you are hiring, the fee for that. So it is not a very costly affair, but yeah, you need not to have any funds, you need not to have any products just to register a company. And as I've said so many times, if you are just registering a partnership firm or a proprietorship firm, in that you might not even need like more than a couple of thousand rupees. You can simply just go to a notary in a court, just get an affidavit and just apply for a PAN card. So, uh, Hardik, share market Hindi video in Hindi. So this channel we are trying not to make any content on Hindi, but we do have another channel which is uh, you can find the link in the chat box. Caleb will share it, so you can go there. We might be able, right now we are only making videos on startups and entrepreneurship. We are basically just starting with the startup news, but in the future we might actually get started with different videos, different topics in Hindi. So yep. uh, Caleb or Varun, Vansh is asking who is managing the chat, so I think it's Caleb. Oh, it's Varun. Okay. uh, Hi, Varun. Should I take funding for my edtech startup at early stage itself, or should I wait? Electrical blogger, I think a few weeks ago we had Ashish sir sort of answering all of these things, but and he, I think at the around the end of his live stream he did answer this. So maybe if you can just go back to that video, and if you can just go back to that video and watch that answer, I think you will get your answer. But if you ask me, then what is stopping you to wait, right? Sorry, yeah. Why do you think, if you have proper reasons, because no one can really sort of work on your own business ideas. If you think that there is some sort of, you have positive cash flow, if you think you are getting revenues from day one, it's better to wait. But if you think that you actually need some money to build your product, if you need some money to market your product and you don't have that much of money, and getting some money can basically help you to scale faster, then there is no harm in raising funds. And if you think that raising funds will sort of dilute your equity, so there is one thing that I want to say, that owning 100% of a grape is still lower than owning just 1% of a watermelon, right? So I think that way you can look at that, if equity is one thing that you are really worried about. So I hope that answers your question. Shubham Desai, what is the value of MBA, especially from IIM? Well, from IIM, a lot of people, I think I've been answering it, I've sort of answered it a lot of times. Apart from MBA, apart from the degree, the thing that you get is that access to the kind of network which people from IIM have. Like different people from different IIMs, you get that IIM alumni tag, which is sort of celebrated. Like, unfortunately, but it is, there are so many places where you actually can get through just because of that IIM tag. But apart from that degree, obviously, like, it gives you first hand experience, it gives you insights, it gives you access to a lot of people, because IIMs, you have that opportunity to interact with a lot of people who have graduated from IIM, who are doing amazing in their life. They, just because of being alumni from the same alma mater, you have access to those people. Also, you have access to that alumni network. So network is one thing, according to me, which is the best thing about pursuing MBA from IIM, apart from obviously the first hand experience that you get, and you get taught by the best of the professors who are available in India. So uh, Adarsh Chauhan, should Tesla make smartphones? No comments. uh, so do you think Indian startups should try and capture markets of other countries like US or UK, or is it out of our league? Uh, Ayush, this is not out of our league. India already has started getting that, but a lot of times, why I uh, uh, it is not, or it has never been out of the league. The only thing was, like, India did not have a startup policy. India did not have that encouragement for the startups, and that was actually one of the reasons why you did not see a lot of these startups coming out of India making for the world. So I think right now we are at a pretty good, we are at a pretty good path. And in the coming days, coming years, I'm pretty sure in this decade, you will see a lot of startups basically coming from India making for the world. Uh, Titli Ghosh, but here's my support to your wonderful channel that I recently found and banged all the videos. Hope you grow more. Thank you very much, Titli. Thank you very much for your nice words. Agastya Sharma, we are working on improving education system by working with school. What are the changes you want to see in the education system? So, Agastya, I don't know, like, on what level are you working, on what geographies are you working, but the things, one thing that I have sort of been involved in the education sector, and one thing that I really want to do is how we can basically ensure that people in the remotest part of, India basically has a lot of these government schools, and in a lot of government schools, in a lot of villages, you just have like one person teaching, one person in charge of the entire school. You have just one or two people enrolled there, one or two. So how you can, make use of the technology, and how you can make sure that the best of the teachers, no matter what city they are sitting, no matter in what part of the world they are, can they teach in a remote village of Maharashtra or Rajasthan or Haryana, for that fact. So I think the best use of education technology, the best of use of edtech, should be for the people who cannot afford that, or people who cannot reach to that. And I think the day we actually do that last mile connectivity of quality education, that will be the day when the purpose of edtech revolution will be served. So I hope that answers your question, Agastya. Sanjay B, how to get into software entrepreneurship? How to get into software entrepreneurship? Please ask a little bit more pointed question, Sanjay. This is very broad, and I can for sure speak for an hour about this. Uh, your thoughts on capitalism and socialism? Like, it's not a social studies lecture, the D's. So try to keep it on startups, try to keep it centric to startups, as specific as you can, and that will sort of uh, give me the motivation to answer whatever you're asking. Guys, Araf Manjil, I watch all your videos. It would be really more than great if you can put Araf, yes, we are actually almost doing 2 videos a week on the channel. Actually, last couple of weeks or last I think 3 weeks have been a little bit here and there because of holidays, and then because of uh, yeah, actually because of holidays and because of the kind of schedule that we had. But apart from that, we try our level best to be on be at do at least two videos. Like we do have two videos anyway. We have the news video which is coming every Saturday, and we have this live which comes every Friday. So these are the two videos. Apart from that, we also try to do different kind of videos. Like this week we had top 10 Eevee startups. We also had the interview of Saurabh Subhash Chaudhary, I'm sorry, from Dukan. So I think we are trying our level best to get at least two videos every week on this. Uh, Rocket Egg, can you explain how making company public is different than private company, how they raise funds and all? Rocket Egg, I don't even know what to call you, but making a company public, it's just like, companies in the stock market, people buy your shares, and people can buy like even one share. Let's say a company like Yes Bank or Idea, or maybe even Reliance. So Reliance share is around 1950 rupees, 19, yeah, it's just around that as of today. So you can even just invest less than 2000 rupees on a stake in Reliance. That is not possible in private companies, because in private companies usually the deal size is bigger. Usually these investors invest like thousands or hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars to have that stake. So I think making public is different than so yeah, they just raise funds through these investors, and in case of corporate companies they raise funds from the institutional investors like VCs and angel investors. Uh, Deliver Tech X, should we register a brand name for trademark in the start? Yes, that's a very um, important thing for any brand or for any company to do. I want to join a new startup in an ideation stage or start in a period of 1 or 2 years. Will you suggest one? I'm extremely enthusiastic to work in a startup. Time Pass Tech. I love these names. So Time Pass Tech, your name is only Time Pass. So um, well, we can certainly suggest, like, I think it'll be really good if you can just join our Discord server, and that's where we actually talk about startups and entrepreneurship, and that's where you can actually get connected with a lot more people who are interested in startups and entrepreneurship, and you can also get in contact, you can also get in touch with different people running startups. So I think the best thing would be to join our Discord channel, and maybe Varun can just share the link of Discord channel in the chat box, and I think let's just discuss it there. Devansh, please create a course for stock market trading. I'm pretty sure there are so many courses already, and that is not our area of focus right now. We are more or less on startups and entrepreneurship, and stock market is very, very different from that. So we do not really want to deviate from the from the aim that we are basically going on with. So I don't think this is in our immediate plans, but if it is, like we will let you know, Devansh. Rishabh Srivatsav, MBA from India versus MBA from abroad. Well, this is a never-ending question, and this certainly doesn't relate to startups. So I will try to avoid it. I feel good that almost 1,06,000 Indians now have entrepreneurship mindset for sure, Ayush, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be this is going to increase at a much faster pace than it has been increasing in the last 2 years. And as like we are aiming to touch 1 million before the end of 2021, so I'm actually hopeful that a lot more people actually have that entrepreneurship mindset, and a lot of a lot of people sort of subscribe to us. But again, I don't really want to be boastful and say that only the people who have subscribed to our channel have entrepreneurship mindset. There's so many different channels, there's so many different platforms in India and abroad who are giving amazing knowledge, amazing information about entrepreneurship and startups. So I'm pretty sure the number is much more than that. But yeah, thank you that you sort of compared our subscribers to the people having entrepreneurship mindset. So that's one thing which really gives us motivation. Thank you for that. Shiv Shankar, I'm a first year college student. I want to use app log I want to use apps like Grow or Zerodha. Apps like Grow. Okay. Please give me some glimpse about what knowledge should I have, or what should I do before starting, or what are the requirements. So Shiv Shankar, you are basically talking about stock trading again. You are talking about mutual funds. So as I said, like we don't really have that as a focus as of now. So I won't really be able to give you anything on that. But uh, what knowledge you should have, maybe before starting to trade, within 1 minute, if I can just say, uh, read about the basics of stock markets, read about the basics of trading, read about the technicalities of that. And I think Gerodaversity will be a very, very good place for you to begin with. They have a free guide for everyone, and that's like, I think, the best free guide that you can find about stock markets in India or in general. So Gerodaversity will be a really good thing for you to begin with before you even make a trading account, because that gives you that basic details, basic information about the trading, and that's it. I would try not to speak more about it. Kindly do interviews with some of the best minds in Indian entrepreneurs. Sumit, yes, we have actually been planning on that. We were thinking to do that in the beginning of this channel's journey, but because we were sort of a small channel, no one was taking us seriously. And uh, then COVID lockdown happened. So now that we are actually getting back to the normal life, so I think in the coming days, in the coming yes, in the coming days, you should see more and more interviews. We actually did one interview just this week with Subhash Chaudhary of Dukan, and apart from that, we are actually in talks with a lot of lot more interviews. So as I said, like you should see them in the coming days or the coming weeks. Name your channel BMW. More people will, more people will subscribe. Udit, yeah, thank you for the uh, suggestion. I hope. Sumit Sagar, how to find a good startup co-founder? Well, to find a good startup co-founder, you actually need to be clear on what you can offer to him, or why should anyone join your startup. So once you are clear on that, maybe just reach out to different people on different platforms. There are so many people who are actually looking to join different startups, or new or exciting startups. I think there was one person only in this chat who was trying to work for a startup. So there are so many communities, there are so many events which are happening. So maybe that would be a good beginning for you to actually start it. But apart from that, I think there are so many communities there. There's Angel.co. There are so many communities on Facebook. There are so many communities on there are so many offline communities as well. So maybe that thing will be a good beginning for you to get started. Rohit Kumar Yadav, you guys are doing really great work. Thank you so much for making content of us. Thank you very much for supporting us, Rohit. And yes, we have been fortunate enough to actually build a community more than 100,000 people, and I am pretty sure we have plans of keeping to create this content for a long time to come. So keep supporting, and yes, I expect to keep seeing you in these live chats and your comments on different videos that we make. Uh, Devansh, doing college and startup both at the same time is a good idea. Certainly, it is a good idea. It gives you a lot more, better perspective about your life, about managing different tasks, and also about startups. Even if like because a lot of people are not really expecting anything from you. So when you are in college, you can simply just get away. Whenever someone asks like, "What are you doing?" you can simply just tell that, "Okay, I'm studying." So that is the time when people have least expectations from you. That is the time when you have a lot of free time. So I think. Uh, yes, it is an idea if you can juggle up between both of those things. Last question, Ujjwal, how can my product land higher initial valuation? Well, the only way that your product can land higher initial valuation is first feedback from the first few customers. Second, the kind of market share that the kind of market that you are trying to tap, the average value per customer. That is one thing which basically when you're going to raise funds for the first time, investors will ask you like one customer, how much is the cost of acquisition of that customer, and how much is the total lifetime value of that customer. So if that customer, if your product value is higher, if you think that one customer will pay you, let's say the average lifetime value of one customer is, let's say, $1,000, and so these are the things which actually, like, how much valuable, how much worth your product is for anyone, and how much of the market you can capture. So these are the things which will lend you higher value, higher initial valuation. Apart from that, how much experienced is the current team, and how much, like, potential the current team basically has uh, uh, to kind of deliver to the expectations of the investors, so to deliver to the kind of claims that you're making in front of the investors. So your team also matters, your product also matters, and your market size also matters. How long does it take on minimum for a startup to reach unicorn valuation? Araf Manjil, I think it's 7 years. Talking about India's uh, average every unicorn which has reached unicorn status takes 7 years. It doesn't also mean that every startup which starts will just need 7 years to uh, will just any startup that you're starting today in 7 years, no matter what you do, it will reach unicorn status. So the 7 years time that I have just told you is basically depending on the number of uh, sorry the number of taken by the unicorns which have already reached this status. Ayush Tejwani, I want to start a gaming company. Where should I start? Well, again, very, very broad. If you can sort of down that a little bit, I will be in a better position to answer that. What about CBD startups in India? I don't see CBD is still legal in India, Anirudh. So there is no CBD startup. I might be wrong on that. I am not following the whole CBD scene in India. So yeah, I won't really be in a position to answer that. Psycho, can you make a video about how to start a startup for college students? Yes, actually, we are working on something similar to that, Psycho. Again, an interesting name. So you should see, something on those similar lines on this channel in the coming weeks. Is it better to get funding from a college incubator or arrange it on your own? So Ram Shantosh, if a college incubator is funding you, and that actually means you are still a student, and if you cannot arrange, again, you're giving me two very, very different situations. If you can arrange those funds on your own, well, there is nothing like it. But again, the as I said, like, college incubation basically comes with a lot more different things, a lot of different things. It only does not only provide you money. It only does not only provide you those 5, 10, 15, 20 lakh rupees. It also provides you connections. It also provides you a proper place to, and also the kind of environment that it provides. So maybe look at all these factors, and if you really think that that is beneficial for you, go for it. Otherwise, money and just get started with that. Titli Ghosh, is it wise for a person to do a job and then to start a startup at the same time and start a startup at the same time? So well, there are a lot of people who actually work on this, but again, it also depends on the kind of clause that you have signed with your company. It also depends with the flexibility that you are having from your company, because one, it might be very difficult for you to manage time because you're already working for 8 to 10 hours for your company, and if you think you can actually manage that, but again, like, a lot of companies prohibit their employees to be involved in their profitable venture. So maybe, you read your offer letter, you need to read the clause that you have signed with your company before getting started on anything. Otherwise, like, if your company does not prohibit you, then for sure you can go, if you can manage two things at a time. Sumit Sagar, what are the best strategies to build and develop a long-term network? uh, well, long-term network, if you are actually building a network, the thing which really matters is, like, apart from, obviously, if you're approaching someone, you need to be sure that how you can be helpful to those people, how those people can be very helpful. A lot of times in networking, what we really do is we simply just send a cold email to someone that I want to be in your network. So what is the use of being that network? Are you just trying to increase the number of your LinkedIn connections? Are you just trying to increase the number of contacts on your phone? Are you just trying to increase the number of contacts on your email? Or are you actually having some sort of strategy in mind that, okay, how can those people be helpful to you? How can you be helpful to those people? So your network could be small. Your network could be, let's say, 50 people compared to the 1,000 people that your friend or your competitor might have. But if those 50 people serve a specific purpose in your life, if there is, whenever you have an issue and you are very sure that, okay, this is the person that I can reach out to, this is the person that I can fall back to, then I think, that is the value of having a network, and that is the time when you will have a long term network, just like you mentioned. So I think that's the thing. You have to be very clear. You have to be, like, it's a tit for tat thing. Whenever you're getting someone in your network, you also have to be helpful to them. So, and I think that should answer your question. How can we create more jobs in areas like Himachal? Ankit, uh, very, very broad again. Himachal is a touristic city. Himachal is also great in agriculture. Himachal can also be, uh, that can also sort of, you can also do something in, let's say the hand stitching that people do around Spiti. So I have stayed in Manali for many months this year, and I have seen, like, the amazing potential that these people have. So right from tourists, right from agriculture, right from, the hand stitching, a lot of things can be done, and to basically put Himachal on the world map or on the India map. So you again, anything which is there in your own locality, anything, the kind of resources that you have, you can get started with that. And yep. Um, okay, so this name is written in Kannada, I guess. So I do not know how to read that. But about space industry, what do you think about space industry based startups? So we actually made a video on this, the best space startups in India, and I think it'll be great for you to just go and watch that video, and I'm pretty sure your question will be answered after that. Are you best city for startup after Bangalore, Hyderabad, Delhi, and Mumbai? And what do you think about Jaipur city for starting up? Well, I am from Jaipur, and Jaipur is amazing to start up. And things like Cardeko, things like Razorpay, which is the biggest financial startup as of today, they were started in Jaipur. So Jaipur, in any tier two city, like right now, as I said, all you need to start a startup is a laptop and an internet connection. That's it. There's nothing else you need. And internet and stable electricity is available almost in entire India as of today. So you don't just get to Bangalore just to start a startup. If there is, if Bangalore is not serving a specific purpose, people go to Bangalore to maybe raise capital or to hire different people, hire different talent, which could be helpful to them. But if you can have access to these things sitting in Jaipur, I don't see any reason for you to get to Bangalore or Hyderabad or Delhi or Mumbai. Uh, Thank you very much, Pulkit. Shiv Shankar, please bring some educational course related to business, startups, and entrepreneurship. Will be great help. Yes, noted. Thank you, Shiv Shankar, for that. Um, Kishala Ray, revenue model of Dukan. Well, there is no revenue model that I'm aware of right now, but maybe they'll have a revenue model in the coming months or coming years. Let's just wait for that. Should I copyright my product material at launch or wait for it to be profitable? Um, and if I do, can you guide me through the process? How can you copyright product material? I'm not very sure, Ujjwal, what you meant by that. Please give me a little bit more information. Guys, please stop asking these vague questions. As I said, there are so many people watching this live stream, and there will be so many people watching it after it is on the channel. So uh, try to respect the time of everyone, and so please don't answer these vague questions, because again, this is not uh, sort of helping anyone. Ayush, please try and answer quickly. You take too much time to answer questions. Um, well, I don't know how to answer to that, but I try my level best to actually, make it understandable to anyone who I'm answering to. So maybe I'll try to sort of be on your suggestion, Ayush. Sorry that you had to be disappointed by the time that I take. Abhishek Avasti, is there any future of drone technology or drone-based startups in India? If yes, then how we can come up by video did you have for Eevee? Um, thank you for that suggestion, Abhishek. There is certainly future of drone technology and drone-based startups in India. Um, um, Drone technology, I think you can just we did one. Arav Unmanned Systems. We actually did that interview way early in our startup journey, and those people are based in Bangalore. Though they already have a pretty good product lineup, and most of their products are being used in agriculture. Most of their products are being used for the defense. So I think agriculture and defense are still two of the biggest ways where you can use drones. Apart from that, there will be a lot more delivery. We are talking about drone deliveries. We are talking about uh, so drone is one thing which is like just an example of robotics. So we have still not realized the potential of these things, and I'm pretty sure that in the coming days, in the coming years, we will sort of realize, and we'll try to figure out that what are the different areas in which we can actually use drones and robotics. So yes, there is certainly a scope of drone-based startups in India. And sir, please suggest good incubator center for product-based startup. Ashraf, where are you based? Again, what kind of product do you have? Where are you based? There are different. There's so many things which basically get into selecting a startup incubator. So maybe it might also depend on your location. It might also depend on the kind of sector that you're working in. Please give me a little bit more detail so that I can answer that. Will globalization in electric vehicle affect India? ABCD, I don't know. It will certainly affect India. Like India is a part of the world. India is a part of this globe. Um, it will, how it will impact? Maybe we are still very early to say that. But yes, for sure it will, because India is not different from the world. Electric blogger, which angel network is good in India? Well, again, different angel networks serve different purposes. Different angel networks have different experts in their panel. So again, it depends on your startup, it depends on your location, it depends on your expertise, and Suryan Chagrawal, what is the best way to generate leads for SaaS startup for B2B market in India? Again, very broad. If you can give me a category of the kind of product that you're working on, if you can give me the kind of target customers that you're targeting, so maybe based on that I can suggest you something. Uh, Rolls Royce, you want to invest some money, you have no experience in investing before. Please, I've said so many times, we are trying to be away from the stock marketing, because this is all about startups and entrepreneurship. So try to keep your questions related to that, because or else I can just keep talking about stocks. So because people are actually expecting to talk about startups and entrepreneurship in these live streams, so try to actually keep your questions very limited and actually very related to that. What do you have to say about the startups on smart developments like machine learning, auto driving, etc.? Slained, slain by bot. What do you have to say about startups on smart developments? Like, what do I have to say? Like, obviously, these are the things which we haven't really realized the potential of these things. Obviously, like it's gonna be a few years before we actually uh, get to talk about the potential of these. And right now, sort of like we were actually on a right track, I guess, but COVID has impacted a lot of these progress. So wait and watch, I guess. Okay, I do have a lot of people spamming. So, do you think basic philosophy, psychology, and communication skills can be taught in schools and can also teach students to think creatively and create critically by collaborating with schools? Uh, Agastya, yes. Again, this will be very different from what we are talking about here, but maybe I'll just try my best to summarize it in less than a minute. So, talking about basic philosophy, psychology, and communication skills, uh, there is you cannot teach that to the students in the primary schools. You cannot teach that to the students in the middle schools, and that's why we actually give them the liberty to choose their subjects for the first time after the 10th standard. So because that is the time when actually these kids are thinking about it. But talking about basics of it, um, I don't think psychology and communication skills can help them create. I don't think creatively in that, critically, like you said. But certainly, like as I said, I have no clue what sort of students are you talking about. What age group of students are you talking about? Uh, Sir, I read an article that there'll be 12 new unicorns in 2021. Is that true? Sunny, there is nothing which can predict these unicorns. I'm pretty sure no one had predicted that 2020 will have 9 or 10 unicorns like it had. So it just depends on the kind of decisions that these startups take. For sure, we might have 12. We might not even have 12. We might have like way beyond, way more than 12. So maybe let's talk about it in December of 2021 and. Deepak Next Gen, I recommend you to watch Tran latest video on Silicon Valley. For sure, I will watch that. Thank you. Shiv Shankar, is it true that co-founders from IITs or IIMs have better access to seed funding as compared to people graduating from low-tier colleges? Yes, and this is a sad reality of the Indian startup ecosystem, Shiv Shankar. One thing is because, as I said in the beginning of this live stream as well, when you are from IITs or IIMs, you are automatically connected to a lot of people who have graduated from your own college, from your own university, or from your own brand name. Like let's say there is someone who is doing his MBA from IIM Ahmedabad or IIM Bangalore. He will already have access to like thousands of people who have already studied from IIM Bangalore, and they are already doing great in their life. They are already placed very high in the corporate world. So that is one thing which really makes it easy for the people from IITs and IIMs to reach out to their seniors, to reach out to the network of that particular university or the college. And yes, that does make it better. That does make it easy for them to get seed funding as compared to the people from different colleges. Snehil, is it better to work on startups in 8th semester and not opting for an internship? Uh, because I'm very confident with my idea, and I think won't be happy if I go for internship anyway. Snehil, yes, it is better. Like if you can really work something, if you can really work on something significant, if you can really work on something which gives you experience, there is nothing like it. And if that is something, that is what you are planning to do full time after your college, for sure it gives you a head start. If it also gives you a better opportunity to work on that. And yep, that's all I can say. Aditya Raj, I'm a very old subscriber of this channel and I appreciate your efforts of making your young minds more educated of the startup ecosystem. I was searching for this type of channel for a very long time. Thank you so much. Thank you very much, Aditya. What is the CPM of this channel? Next gen, Deepak. I won't really be having that handy right now, and I'm not sure whether we will be able to share that publicly. Manvit, are you going to do a Q&A? Well, I think that's what I'm doing right now. Kishan and Shanbag had an idea to connect career counselors to students to guide them, and you can say in this valid idea, please, just like how Byju's did. Can you say something about my idea and how can I stand out from the crowd? Kishan, how you stand out from the crowd, that is something that you need to decide. Maybe once you have something, maybe I can just help you to fine tune that. But again, I cannot give you a different idea. But you career counseling is actually one of those things which is increasing a lot. And again, if you can bring something which is not already there in the market, for sure anything has a potential. And yep, good luck for that. How you guys deal with the stress, the fear of failure, and the fear of what if I couldn't make any money with this business, because I'm constantly having these thoughts. So rocket egg, whenever if someone has these kind of names, it'll be great if you can just put your name after that, because it sort of becomes very weird to talk to these kind of names. So whenever you like startups starting up, I think this has never been said enough, but entrepreneurship is a lonely journey. Like you don't have people who you can basically talk about your stress, talk about your dilemma, talk about your issues when you're starting up. But whenever you are starting a startup, like in the first few weeks or the first few months, you get a feeling that it will succeed or not. And your gut feeling, you have to listen to your gut feeling. And a lot of times, even if people have a gut feeling that it will not work out, they try to just extend it. They're just trying to sort of keep pushing it till the time they actually get completely either burnt out, or they get completely bankrupt. So once you are into that, and if I give you an example of backstage with millionaires, the day we started, in the first few weeks we did get amazing feedback from people that our content quality was great. We did get amazing feedback from people that what we were doing, if we could do that persistently, we would do great. So it took us almost like 21 months to get to first 10,000 subscribers. It took us almost 22 23 months to actually make any money, but we were very persistent. We were very very sure, or we were very regular in having at least two videos every single week, right from day one till the time October of 2020, the amount of time when actually our channel picked up. So that is one thing. Persistence is one thing. If you are sure about one thing, if you are sure about your idea, if you see that potential, so it's just a matter of time. And I think just having definite clear cut goals and just keep working on that will be the key that you handle your stress or the fear of failure, or what if you can or cannot make any money? If you can create a sustainable business, if you can create a solid business, do not worry about money. Money will come. Like even the biggest of these startups that you see in India, they are just trying to create that sustainable business. They are just trying to create that solid business model. So don't really worry about the money. Worry about the impact that you're creating, and worry about the longevity of your startup. Money is actually a byproduct. Once your startup is there, money will come. uh, what do you have to say about startups or smart developments? You have already asked that. Have I agreed to WhatsApp new privacy policy? How will that impact you, Shiv Shankar? What about mechanical design studio startup? Uh, Again, very, very broad. Please. Should I go with OPC or sole proprietorship for starting a service apartment business? Jeevan, I think both of them have the same sort of liabilities if you are making profit. But I think OPC, a one person company, one man company actually, That is what it is called. So one man company is more or less a better legal entity, and it sort of has better recognition if you are trying to create anything which is apart from, or which is beyond your local area. But if you are just trying to be in your local area, and if you think you don't have to expand a lot, in that case I think sole proprietorship is also a good option. uh, do you think starting an electric charger station is profitable, Arjun? For sure, it is profitable. Again, depends on the kind of location. It is just like, it might not give you any returns in the next 2 years or next 3 years. But again, as I said, like, if you actually persist with that, it can be a profitable solution. Uh, Sumit Sagar, how can a newborn startup compete in sectors like infra and healthcare, among other, which is already saturated with government companies and big players? Again, you spoke about a new company in infrastructure and healthcare, which are very, very broad. So please ask specific questions. Like, I just cannot answer these. Uh, oh man, I love these kind of questions, but sadly, I cannot answer all of them. Uh, is it difficult to raise capital as one person company in today's date? Judajit Sarkar. So the only meaning of one person company is that only one person is the one who is holding stake in that. So yes, it is impossible to raise funds if it is a one person company, but you have an option of converting that one person company to a private limited company before raising funds. So if that is your question, well, it is impossible, but again, there is always an option of converting that. So you will not lose that funding just because you are a one person company. Which sector in India do you think is untapped by entrepreneurs or need more entrepreneurs? Varun, every sector in India is tapped basically, but every single sector can have more and more startups. And as we have been speaking, like even in 2020, there were like hundreds of startups who came in edtech sector. Like even before that, we were talking about this edtech being a very, very competitive sector. But even in this time, we did have uh, a lot of these startups coming, and a lot of these startups were basically successful. So I think there are so many sectors like travel and tourism. There are sectors like healthcare. There is sector like edtech, which I still believe has a lot more potential, has a lot more scope for a lot more startups. And apart from that, I think infrastructure is one thing, defense is another thing. So well, every single sector does have potential. Every single sector does have scope if you can make it count. How to patent a product in India? Well, maybe contact a lawyer. Presun Ingle. I'm not very like, I am a law student. I'm not a lawyer yet, so maybe I might not be able to guide you completely on that. But I think a Google search will give you more information than I can give you. Uh, Thank you, Aditya. What do you think about FamPay? Pratik's tech? I'm sorry, I don't have much clue about FamPay, and I do not really want to answer something where I don't have, at least a fair amount of idea about. I think I will try to, or I will start to not answer questions which are asked by these funny names, because at times I love these questions, but again, the kind of names that you have. Uh, VK Shines, I have started an online e-commerce store of local products for local vendors, and I have started marketing on Instagram. How can I reach more people? What would be the best marketing strategy? So VK Shines, I don't know, like if you have enough funds to market, if you have enough funds to sort of market on Instagram and YouTube, or even on Facebook, then I think that's the best strategy. If you're talking about the uh, organic ways to market on Instagram, then I think the best thing would be to reach out to people, to maybe comment on different uh, people's profiles or people's post, or reach out to those people and ask them to actually share about you. So basically, the first thing needs to start with friends and family. More and more, create better products, and if you already have uh, sort of customers, so it will be the best if you can just ask those people to refer it to different people. You can give them affiliate commission, you can give them referral commission, those are the strategies that you actually need to come up with. But make use of the audience, make use of the customers that you already have to get more customers, and that is the best organic strategy that I can advise, or I can say you can run some sort of contest. You can just ask people to sort of reach out, or maybe share about your thing. You can have some sort of giveaways, and well, there are so many of these strategies, but again, which one works the best for you. Go for that. Suryansh, I have made a CRM for restaurants, but I don't know how was the cost effective way to reach out to restaurants owner directly. How can I sell my product in India and outside India? CRM, if you are talking about Suryansh, um, how are you better than Possessed, and how are you better than different of these companies? How you can reach out to restaurant owners directly? Well, um, again, I think the best way would be in restaurants to just reach out to them offline. Just do a little bit of pilot. I don't know if you have done your pilot or not, and if you think that the cost effective way would be to reach out to these restaurant owners in your own locality and reach out to them offline, reach out to them directly face to face, give them your product, show them your product, the kind of features that you have, give them a demo, make them use that for a week or for a month, or for 3 months, like whatever your feasibility is, and then try to work on these feedback. Try to take the feedback, that are those people really liking your product, and if they are liking your product, if they are giving some sort of feedback, if they are ready to pay for your product, then I think get started from that. uh, Ayush, I'm working on a research project which could potentially revolutionize electricity generation. Just give your thoughts on what will happen to world economy if electricity becomes 10 times cheap. Uh, Ayush, I am not really sure on that. Guys, one thing I really want to make sure that we are already at 9 o'clock. This was the time. So if you want to ask any questions, maybe just ask in next 5 minutes, and I will only be considering questions which are asked to me till 9:05 p.m. And after that, I won't be taking any more questions. So Varun, please make a note of this, and just at 9:05 you can just drop a line in the chat box, and I will know that which questions to consider and which are to not. uh, Sridevi, how important will be the contribution of Indian startups in making India a 5 trillion economy? uh, well, I think startups will be, I don't know, I cannot give you a percentage, I cannot give you, but talking about the importance of that, well, you can simply see the kind of startups we already have. We have like almost I think 70 unicorns or 50 unicorns. But yeah, we did have almost 10 unicorns just in the year 2020. The 2020 year was basically considered to be the bad year for the startup ecosystem throughout the world, but India had the biggest number of unicorns coming from India, like in one particular year. So I think now is the time that the world needs to take Indian startup ecosystem seriously, and there are different. So the thing with startups compared to the traditional companies is that the kind of way that startups think, the kind of adaptability that startups have, the time taken for a particular, a potential, a significant decision for a startup is much lesser than a traditional company. So startups do have like a big edge, or sort of a big potential compared to these big companies. So again, I cannot give you a percentage, as I said, but coming years will tell us, like what kind of role are these startups playing in making India a 5 trillion economy. Sai Umesh, what is your opinion about Indian quick service restaurant startups, QSR startups? Uh, what is my opinion again? Sai Umesh, like, please be a little bit more specific in this. Can I start a startup after medical college? I'm currently in 11th. Uh, you can certainly start a startup after medical college, Tanish. Which startups will have their IPO in this year? I think Zomato is the one which is planning in 2021. I think Urban Company is another company which is planning their IPO. Um, there are one or two more companies which are planning their IPO in the coming year, or actually in the current year. But yeah, Zomato and Urban Company, I think, are the sure ones. Can you do a case study video on upcoming unicorn companies and as well as the well-established one, Trian? For sure. I think we are already in a process of doing something on similar lines. Maybe not exactly the same, but you will like when it comes out. Uh, Anurag Tiwari, how will you put your MVP in front of your target audience? Love your content. Thank you very much. So, how do you? Well, MVP in front of your target audience is, I think the first thing is just to do a pilot. And once you have an MVP, the purpose of having an MVP is just to actually get the initial validation from your customers. So maybe just create a pool of, the pilot pool of your customers, and try to ask those people that, okay, this is my product, and how do you think I can do better. Maybe just, give them to use it for free, or maybe just charge them a very, very minimal amount, and take their feedback, work on that feedback, and try to keep making your a better version of your product. And I think, you will be on your path. Ayush Jain, I love the content you guys are publishing. Could you please make videos guide on small businesses to onboard to Shopify and Amazon to sell in-house products? Well, Ayush, that won't, I think, be completely in line of entrepreneurship and startups, but I will, sorry, uh, um, maybe I'll try my best to actually, see that what we can really do about this. Thank you for the suggestion. Sridevi, could you please make a video on the business model of Cred? Well, Cred will be an amazing case study for sure. But as I said, right now we are working on different, like we already have at least 5 to 6 videos in the pipeline. So Cred is not one of those, but we will certainly make one video on Cred very, very soon. Thank you for answering. Please do case study on bot. Well, I think Karthik or someone had commented that on one of our one of our offline videos as well. So for sure, thank you. What is in designing services? I'm also from Jaipur, studying in Manipal University, Jaipur, and I hope could connect you in any manner personally for some guidance. And thank you for all the advice. Thank you, Snehil. Anyone who wants to connect with me personally can connect with me on Instagram. My username is Kumar Prithvi. Varun, if you could just write that in the comment section. And anyone, you can simply just reach out to me on Instagram. You can also reach out to the Instagram of Backstage with Millennials. I sort of try to check those uh, messages on Instagram very, very regularly. So yeah, as I said, if you have anything, you can always reach out to me on Instagram or Backstage with Millennials on Instagram. So keep the good work, guys. Thank you very much, Mr. Magneto, who helped me to start up. Hats off for the Dukan CEO and the team who is to interview with him was such an amazing video. Thank you, Sai Siddharth. What do you think about the tech giant will? What do you think? Which tech giant will fall first? I think Facebook. Why do we have to look at the negativity in everything, Deepak? Uh, why cannot we actually celebrate the journey that Facebook has had? Why cannot we celebrate how Facebook has changed the way that the world is connected? Uh, I think it's time we actually get we basically rise from the hate and negativity that we try to spread every single time, and yeah, it takes guts. It takes a lot of process, a lot of time to actually build something like Facebook. So, and that's all I really want to say. Manish, what is my opinion on Bitcoin? Well, I think I have told that I've spoken about it a lot of times in these live streams. Bitcoin, the reason, the kind of aim with which it was started was amazing. It was great. It sort of wanted to provide you a decentralized, unregulated kind of currency, but basically Bitcoin is being used in a lot of illegal activities. So I think that is one thing which is still needs to be addressed, and that is one reason why a lot of countries have not accepted Bitcoin as a legal way of payment. But as I said, everything does have positive as well as negative things. So if those things are figured out, if those things can be addressed, if there can be at least some some sort of certainty that Bitcoin will not be used for any illegal stuff, then I think there is no stopping. But again, the all the point of keeping it unregulated and untraceable is that it will be used in these um, illegal activities, as I said. So I think it's going to be interesting how Bitcoin basically, but right now, as you can see, the rally of Bitcoin, and the it has already crossed $35,000, one Bitcoin's value. So I think we are up for some interesting times talking about these kind of cryptocurrencies. Saurabh Isel said, I do have business concept, but how should I invest? I'm not sure how to answer to that. Can you do case study videos on upcoming noteworthy companies and also well-established one? We have already spoken about it, Triyan. Please try not to ask the same question again and again. Sai Siddharth, videos too blurry in between. I am not sure what I can do about it. Manish Nair, I've already answered. I want to start a air purifier company which serve at bus, railway station, public place like a smoke tower. Interesting, but I want to start up air purifier company that will serve as the bus, railway station. These are literally just the public stations, public places, BBS, right? So I think you will have to purify the entire air that we have in the environment. And if you think that is possible, then go for it. Are there any specific goals to meet when creating a business model? Is there a business model? Is there a method to create a business model? Shrikant, no, there is no method to create a business model. A business model is different for every single company. At times you are looking at your customers. At times you are looking at revenue. At times you're looking for revenue per customer. At times, every single business, as I said, like has a different model, and also a business model can not be dependent on the kind of business that you're doing, but it could be dependent on who is running that business or who is paying for that business, right? So a lot of these factors basically go into creating a business model. So it might or might not really be possible to put every single business model into one method. Uh, Ayush, where did I learn to code? And please recommend where I can start learning. Well, internet is the best resource that you can find. I also started learning from internet. I did have a few books which were C++ and Java when I was beginning, but I think there are so many of these. Udemy is one thing. There are so many courses which are free. Pick one language. Basically work on the basics first. Maybe C++ or Java can still be an amazing beginning, but again, you cannot make a career in C++ or Java as of today. You will have to go for these big languages like Python. But I think, just to sort of get introduced to the coding world, just to get introduced to the loops and the kind of syntaxes, I think C++ or Java, either of these can be really good beginning. But once you actually get some sort of theoretical knowledge, the best thing would be to actually get started with these competitions which a lot of these websites are having. So these competitions really help you to sort of learn, to sort of get a hang of those competitive world, to get a hang of what the corporate or the competitive world is basically expecting from you. So yes, I think internet is the best place for you to begin with. I'm a big fan. Swastik, okay, and I changed recently for you. I'm a student. I'm preparing for IIT Bombay. Is there something I should do in college for my upcoming enterprise? Well, in your college, just try to maybe enjoy your college life. Just try to make these contacts, and also if you already know that what you have to do after your college, maybe it'll be great to just have a plan. It'll be great to just uh, sort of don't really put yourself in extra pressure just because you have to work. If you sort of do that, again you won't really try and enjoy your college life. But uh, as I said, like just try to make a better version of yourself. Just try to make sure that you have the best kind of contacts. Just And I think you should just be do you should just be fine with that. Is there any report online where Byju's disclosed that how many percent of paying users buying on cold calling by Byju's sales team? Deepak Nazian, I'm very sure Byju's will never make that public unless and until someone like Pradeep Punia hacks into the Slack server, just like it happened. But apart from that, I don't really see the possibility of anyone basically, giving that information to you. I have a startup idea but don't have any investment. Can someone financially support me based on the idea and how? Rahul, you have to realize, you have to figure out why will someone support you, and how will someone support you. So just reach out to these angel investors again. That is very very competitive. That is very, like, to get a reply from them. You have to convince them that okay, this is why your startup is the best thing for them to invest. Um, International news station where I can get funds from my startups. Well, you can get funds from angel investors and VCs. How do you do that? Again, I just answered that. Should I hire a lawyer or CA first? And is there a way to contact you, Jeevan Thapa? Yes, you can contact us at backstagewithmillennials@gmail.com. You can also contact, as I said, like you can get in touch with me on Instagram, and I might not be able to reply to every single question, but I'll try my best to reply to whatever I feel comfortable answering on that public platform. So Kunwar Prithvi, KUNWAR is my username on Instagram, and you can follow me there, and we can get in touch there. Uh, I have a startup idea but don't have any investment. Can someone again? Rahul, how many times will you ask this? Uh, E-waste is tapped or untapped, and if it is tapped, then can you explain me how growth will be in future? Sai Siddharth, there are so many companies which are already working on e-waste, but again, as I said, like the kind of potential that India has, the kind of revolution that India has had in terms of adoption of computers and mobile, e-waste is another industry which is going to grow a lot in the coming days, or coming actually I think 2 to 5 years or even 10 years, and this is going to be an industry which will never come down. Till the time we are depending on internet, till the time we are depending, sorry, till the time we are depending on the electronic devices. So yes, that is how the growth will be. Every single month or every single quarter, we have these reports by these mobile companies which say that this quarter the shipment of mobile was this much. It grew by 10%. It grew by 50%. So I think e-waste is going to be one of the biggest industries, because a lot of people are there are still not a lot of companies, because India as a market for e-waste is still not matured enough. So I think and a lot of these companies, a lot of these governments from different states, they're already working on that. They're already trying to incentivize. I'm from Rajasthan. I already know that there is a RICO area in a place called Nimrana, which is almost the Haryana and Rajasthan border, and the government has already sort of sanctioned some sort of this land, that this land can only be used by companies which are working in e-waste. So I'm pretty sure I know about the Rajasthan government, that they are trying to incentivize companies which are working on that. Whichever state you are based in, maybe you can try and reach out to these government authorities and figure out that if your government also has some sort of scheme for any company which is working in e-waste, because governments have already realized that there is a lot of potential. Government has already realized that there is a need of actually having these e-waste companies, but how much of that is tapped in your particular state, I think you can just figure that out by getting in touch with these government agencies. um, Ayush, do I think the Make in India campaigns was successful or not? Well, I certainly think that Make in, like, to basically see the impact of these kind of campaigns, we cannot just see that in 4 or 5 years. Like, I think this campaign was started in 2014 or 15, and we are still in 2021, like early 2021. So, the best example of that, or the best comparison of that, will be China. And the kind of initiative that Indian government started taking in 2013 or 2014, China started taking those initiatives in 1960s and 70s. And after that, only it was late 1980s and early 1990s that China was basically emerging as a hub of manufacturing. So I think for a country like India, for a campaign like Make in India to be successful, we need to give it at least a decade. We should be looking at the success of Make in India campaign somewhere around the mid of 2020s, like around 2024-25, and that thing, I think even the government, even the authorities will be in a better situation to answer that question for you. uh, 40 cents of every dollar startup spend go to Google, Facebook, and Amazon. Thank you very much for that insight, Deepak. Is Tesla coming to India this year? Bad for Indian EV startups? Swayam Saha, well, it is not bad for any Indian EV startups, because the kind of price point that Tesla is targeting, I think, is 65 lakh rupees. So it's like you are saying that Mercedes, or maybe, I don't know, Jaguar. Is Jaguar a threat for Hyundai i10, or is Jaguar a threat for Alto? Indian startups still have an opportunity of creating for the Indian middle class and Indian lower middle class. If they can do that, there is always a big potential. Tesla is not going to tap into the entry level electronic vehicle segment, and Tesla has no plans of doing that. So I think Indian startups are still safe. There is no Indian startups, as per as I know, which is creating a car, electronic car in that segment, something which is costing more than 50 lakh rupees. So I think, yep. Hriday Keshwani, I'm working on a game development company in my first year of college. How can I calculate server cost till we start learning? Till we start earning, how can I calculate server cost? Uh, how do you calculate? I'm sorry, Hriday, your question is not clear. But I think we are already. So if you can, maybe you can connect with me on Instagram, or you can send us an email or backstagewithmillennials@gmail.com. How can I get data for market research free, like demographics and food industry? None creator, nothing comes for free. I'm sorry. Is there any startup idea investment summit in coming year? Startup idea investment summit. I'm not sure of these offline ones. I'm sure there are so many of these online ones happening already, Rahul. So maybe do a Google search and you'll figure it out. Where I can get funds for my startup international news station? You have asked us so many times. Um, how can you build an Instagram page and attract students for my idea where I'm connecting counselors to students? Kishan, as I said, like, maybe begin with your friends and family members. Maybe begin with the people who are around you, people who you can reach out to personally, and then either do a giveaway or give them some sort of referral bonus or some sort of incentive for referring people, and that could be the thing that you can just begin with. Um I need a high-end PC to set up my office. I was thinking of giving up equity to some big companies like HP, but I don't know how to reach to them. Uh, okay, this is sort of tricky. Rocket, well, I don't really see there is, but it really depends on your idea. It really depends on the kind of experience that you already have. But if you are saying that you actually need some sort of investment, even just to build a PC, then sorry to sort of break it to you, but it is going to be very, very tough. Okay, so I have reached to the cutoff time. Maybe I'll take one or two more questions. Okay, I don't see any. Okay, I don't really see any more good questions to answer. So thank you very much, everyone, for turning up. Varun has already shared the link of Discord server in this chat. I will be live or I'll be available on the Discord server for next 1 hour. So if there is anyone who wants to discuss entrepreneurship, if there is anyone who sort of wants to talk about startups and entrepreneurship, feel free to ping me on Discord, and I'll be replying to every single comment in next 1 hour. And apart from that, you can reach out to us on backstagemillennials@gmail.com. If there is anything that you sort of want to talk to us, you can reach out to me personally on Instagram at Kumar Prithvi, KUNWARPRITHVI. And uh, that's it. Good night. Happy New Year once again. And I really hope 2021 is lucky and 2021 is fruitful for everyone. And it was great talking to you. I'll see you everyone again at 8 p.m. next Friday. And yep, till then, bye. Good night.